Hello, America. And to our friends around the world, welcome to the Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Thank you so much for joining us. We defend God, family, country in that order, and we have a special place for the oppressed. And the people in the Spokane area are oppressed. Now, it could just be absolute random chance and fate, or it might not be. We're going to share what I'm talking about specifically right here in just a moment, but I just want to say this to you. There is an opportunity I'm putting in front of you where you absolutely could be wealthy beyond your wildest dreams if you qualify. And people from my audience have done this. A couple of them have gone to work as agents, and they're raving about what the people at Iron Hawk Financial can do. Now, this is not for everybody, but they'll instantly tell you there's no sales pitch. They're just going to say, what are you looking to do? Okay, let's talk about your status. And they'll say, well, we think we can do a lot of good for you, or we can't. But this is the strategy derived from IRS Code 7702, written by the rich and famous lawyers, obscured it for decades. And people like Joe Lombardi are now unveiling this and saying, we can really help people. You owe it to yourself to check it out. Takes 3-minute phone call, a 5-minute discussion at most, and you're done. All you got to do is go to dhawk.com. That's dhawk.com. Well, I'm going to watch the results of what I just put out. I put something out on social media, given the algorithm interesting results where people aren't being notified and people are losing subscriptions, can't resubscribe, and so forth and so on. And so I wanted to know, are we looking at a situation where a grilled cheese sandwich will get more coverage than a critical issue like what I'm going to talk to you about here from a Christian world perspective? My money is on the grilled cheese. We'll see how this plays out. Anyway, to the critical issue from a Christian perspective. In fact, let me quote scripture here real quick for a second here, because this will kind of set the boundary for where I'm going. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people mourn. Proverbs 29:2. I've talked to people from Texas to Spokane. I've talked to people in Virginia. This is crazy what's going on in our country with data centers. I'm going to say this, and then we'll get into the accusation that has to remain open-ended because I don't know. But I want to put it out there because these people aren't showing any concern for you. Here I am in Arizona. What are we, fourth in data center permits now? And we're drought ridden. We're 35 feet away in the Hoover Dam from not being able to generate hydroelectric power. And then the Glen Canyon Dam's in big trouble. Tucson is supposedly 14 feet away from disaster. This is a very big deal. And then you had the federal government come in and make it worse. We know whose side they're on, big tech. And they said, well, with the Colorado River, you people here in the lower basin, Arizona, California, Nevada, you have to cut. But you guys in the real blue and liberal states like Colorado, you're fine. You have to make no adjustment. And then you add to the 2/3 of the data centers are going in drought-ridden areas. Now, that's not the case in Spokane. There's a different issue there, the fires. Now, I'm going to just tell you what people are saying across the board without taking sides. The fires are a natural act of God, as they like to say, act of nature. Okay, possibly. I don't look at that as real. It's random arsonists. I know they arrested one guy. One guy did not do all these fires. That'd be like saying one guy is responsible for all the death in World War II. It's ridiculous. Yet some people in the mainstream media are hanging their hat on that explanation. Well, they got the guy now. They know who did it. Really? In all these states, and tens of thousands of acres? I don't think so. And then there's well, it's the Chinese. No, it's big tech because in Spokane, the citizens rose up and says, no data center. And they were determined. So what happened? Well, a few weeks later, after they ran the data center people away, the fire started. Now, like I said, this could be coincidence. And what people are telling me in Spokane is this: the fire department often took hours to respond, although the police were there instantly. I'm hearing this enough that I think that officials in Spokane need to address this. Because if this is true, best case scenario, this is pure negligence and heads need to roll and people need to be fired. Worst case scenario, well, we look at maybe some collusion to stand down. I don't know which is true, but I also would say this: who set up the big tech security police state in China that includes social credit? It's the big tech here, the people behind the data centers. They're the ones that did it. So some people are saying this is collusion between Chinese and their big tech partners using thugs. Those are the possibilities out there. I don't know what the answer is here, but I do want answers. And if you people think we're going to buy the single arsonist theory for all of this, you're sadly mistaken. And I'm angry about it. And again, when the righteous are in authority, the fire department shows up, paraphrasing Proverbs 29:2. And I'm sick of the data center, sick of it. And this is why our numbers are, yeah. But I'm sick of it because drought-ridden areas. Are you literally trying to drive people away in the Southwest along the Ogallala water aquifer as well, where that water is a finite source and it's not being replaced because it's being drained by the data centers? We're talking 80 million people in those two areas are being affected. So excuse the conspiracy theory that people are putting out, which I'm not taking sides on, but I think it's hard not to ask these questions given the irreverence given to the people's welfare. And then I didn't even mention this, but I think I will. My electric bill is going up 17% next year. Actually, it started this year. Really? And 65% of the country can't afford a $500 car repair bill, according to what we see in the polls. How are they going to afford this? And all for what? Data center usage. Don't believe the denials, people. They're real. The data speaks for itself on that. That I stand behind. The stuff in Spokane, it needs to be thoroughly investigated by someone who cares. But when your administration consists of nothing but Peter Thiel advocates and associates, I'm not optimistic that there isn't any interest in looking into this. The righteous are not ruling, and we need to pray that they will. And then we need to act on our prayer because faith without works is useless, and we still need to try to vote. I heard Joe Kent say that the other day. I think it was on Jimmy Dore's show. Great interview. I'm going to actually talk about some of the concepts that Joe Kent brought up. And I thought Jimmy was really on fire. He was really right on with what he was saying. And what Joe Kent said was voting could still make a difference. He's right. Trump got elected in 2016 and he made some mistakes in his first term, but he was fighting for you and me. And when he came into office, I thought he was fighting for about the first 3 or 4 months. Then other forces seem to have gotten to him. Pray and vote. Pray and vote. Our country is at a crossroads because we're changing technology and how we go into it. Do you want to go into it as a constitutional republic that permits freedom? Because freedom is at stake. Stay tuned because we're going to talk about the First Amendment and how it's been changed to communitarian law. What's that? Ooh, foreign language, Dave, big words. Don't confuse us. I'll break it down in very simple terms in the next segment. God bless all of you. Let's hope we can restore the republic. And I'm going to say this again. I am not voting for anyone that I don't believe is a Christian. And I mean a real Christian, not a pretend, shows up to church. Because you go to church doesn't mean you know Jesus. And I'm really going to stick to that. And as we get close to the election, I'm going to talk about that and I'm going to hang those labels on people from my perspective. And it's our right. They put themselves out publicly to run for office. That's my qualifier. Now, there's other qualifiers too. I call it the Sophie rule. We'll see you back here next time. God bless.